and we're gonna be real spooky about it. But yeah, that's fine then, man. Let's talk about what you wanted to talk about on this stream, Dan. Let's talk about the Usos and Roman Reigns, and where are we going from here, Dan? You tell us about it, brother.
So this is one thing that I was super confused by, and that's what took the match down a little bit for me in terms of the grand scheme of things. You've had Roman Reigns pretty much gaslighting every member of the Usos and the Uso sort of family in general for the past 3 years. So if that's the case, and Roman has basically put you against your own flesh and blood and brother, why would then you come back from an injury and then help this person out?
Has anything been explained on WWE TV about it since?
So on SmackDown on Friday, it was basically, I did it because I love you. Which is such a cop-out.
It is a real cop-out.
Yeah.
Why would he do it if he loved him?
No idea. Surely, if you loved him, you would want to help this person overcome this gaslighting SOB and take him down a peg or two by making him lose the match or lose the title.
Yeah.
That surely would be the logical part of the story. But to have him be taken out of the match and then say, yeah, I did it because I love you, it just, to me, is completely backwards.
Wow. So you feel that this is, do you feel that, how much do you feel this has derailed the story of the Bloodline? And do you think they can get back on track?
I think that if they can pull it back, Triple H has got something bigger in mind. But to me, if you're going to do brother versus brother, it's a WrestleMania main event. It's not a Payback or a Royal Rumble main event. You've got such a long way to go until WrestleMania 40 next year that between now and then, you've got 8 months, 9 months, not far off, to keep them apart.
So what's the story going up to WrestleMania then? If that's the, because I'd assume the Bloodline are getting back together in some sort. I would assume that Jimmy's going to stay and Jey will be doing his own thing for a bit. I don't know.
No.
Like you say, Triple H has done well with his story. Paul Heyman, who's clearly been in charge of steering it in the right direction. Or could it be that it's gone on too long, Dan? What do you think?
Yeah, I think, Nomad's just put the comment in. I did it because I love you was the very worst. I guess with all the good work, they have done this storyline. They get to drop one's head. Yeah, they've dropped the dose on it. It's been the one part of this story that just hasn't made sense.
So how do you bring it back?
If it was me booking it from now,
yeah,
after what's happened, there is a great photo or a great part of the match itself where I think Jimmy has revealed himself, and you look behind Jimmy, and you've got Paul Heyman stood there looking quite smug.
Okay.
I think that would be the only saving grace, is if you could run with that part and say, I brought Jimmy back because I said to him we're going to make him the new tribal chief, and then basically have Jimmy in Jay's place, Jey in Jimmy's place, from what we had about 4 or 5 months ago, when Jimmy was officially kicked out of the Bloodline first.
Right, maybe.
That's the only way that I think it could possibly work. Keep it that way, and then you could have Solo going up against Jey, like we have been doing, Jimmy going up against Jey, but you have Paul Heyman, puppet master extraordinaire, in the background, pouring everything together to then end up with brother versus brother at WrestleMania. But I think it's too early to start that story and having them feuding as of right now. I think you've got to keep them apart.
Well, hasn't Rikishi, didn't he put something, was he on a podcast or something, and he said that he's reffing a match at Payback between Jimmy and Jey,
I think that was the whole. I think that was what was happening, but I don't know if it'll happen if it's been leaked or if he's said something inadvertently.
I mean, I think he said something inadvertently and then went, "Oh no, I meant a different payback."
Yeah,
Plonk. Whoops a daisy, Stinkface is on him. I think the interesting thing about what they're doing here, though, potentially, is they're continuing the Bloodline story without Roman for a bit.
yeah,
So by having it be Jimmy and Jey who are now feuding, they're continuing the Bloodline story, but are able to give Roman that break because he's not going to be on all of the pay-per-views. However, it still means that the Bloodline story is a major part of them pay-per-views. So maybe that could be the reason why. I'm not saying it was the right way to do it as this whole, oh, let's shock people. I think the interesting thing about shock, Dan, in wrestling is sometimes shock can be is okay to be something that we absolutely see coming. We saw Sami
yeah,
Zayn being turned on by. We saw Sami Zayn turning on Roman at Royal Rumble, but that was okay. It told the right story. You don't just
yeah,
have to surprise us with these sort of offshoots in different directions, which all wrestling companies are guilty of at times.
yeah. I think that. I mean, I've just found the photo that I mentioned a minute ago,
Okay.
so I'm just gonna bring that
That's
one
all good,
up.
man. That's all good. So yeah, I mean, that's where I think it could be going, but we'll have to see. Todd is in the chat. Hey, Todd, how you doing? Extra content today. It's our new thing. Check it out and hang out with us while Dan gets this new photo up.
There
Welcome,
we
Todd.
go.
Says Nomar.
So
Uh,
you'll look at Paul Heyman there. It looks like he knows what's going on and he's been a puppet master.
it tells a story, doesn't it? Especially with
Yeah,
the what would they be called? Reefs, not reefs.
I know
Flowers.
what you mean. Yeah,
I can't think of the name of them. That he's like holding in his hands as well. It looks like them strings that he's potentially pulling on Jimmy
yeah.
still. I think
And
that's
I
really
think
exciting.
that that's one thing where if it's going to happen and it's going
Yeah.
to be a story that gets over, you'll need Paul Heyman to be the one that controls it
I think that,
because everyone knows how good of a wrestling mind he is. So play into that character. He controlled ECW for long enough. He made Brock Lesnar beat the streak.
yeah.
So people believe that he is a wrestling genius. Like William Regal, you play into that character as much as you can because it'll give it legitimacy so easily.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
that's what we care about.
what's the outcome for Roman then at the end of all this?
To me, I think Roman disappears for a little while. Not completely, maybe sort of just as a video package, video promo until after Backlash, because I think there is another Saudi show at some point later this year.
Okay.
Not very far away either.
I
So
wonder what
yeah,
you do
you've
there.
got Payback, and then I think you've got Fastlane, Survivor Series.
And surely you do the Bloodline versus Judgment Day for Survivor Series.
You'd think, but I don't know if people would really care about it that much because there's no story built in.
Okay. Well, it's just because the two of the hottest acts at the minute. You're right, though, man. You're right. If there's no story, what's the point?
Yeah, we talked about it in the first sort of segment with the women's division.
Mm. Interesting, man. Let's get to some of the comments that people wrote about the Bloodline angle. Mark was excited for me to go full heel when we was talking about Bray Wyatt, but it never came off. Ha ha ha! Even more heel. Hey, Norma Sassy. Anthony is heel. He certainly was going to be. By the way, they said no one would interfere. Then Jimmy and Solo interferes. Make that make sense? Who said no one would interfere? Is it because interference is all that ever happens in the Roman Reigns matches. Like you say, it's become very formulaic.
Yeah.
Jimmy's. We mentioned Nomar's comment. Thank you so much, Nomar. Well, I think the brother's lame excuse was he did it. I want his brother to end up like Roman, which was crazy. And they wanted the brothers to fight in Philly because it's the city of brotherly love. Right. Where they will be reunited as a team. And so it's Philly where Payback's happening?
No, Philly is where WrestleMania is next year.
Oh, so you think they'll get back City of Brotherly Love? That's interesting, man. That's not a terrible angle. You could play this off till Mania.
You could, but it'd be hard work, I think.
I think it might be as well. I don't know. I don't know what legs it is.
Mark has just been an absolute legend and shared us into the Rikishi photo where he says, "Come meet Rikishi before we referees at Payback."
Fail! That's hilarious.
Thank you very much for that one, Mark.
Thanks, Mark, man. Thanks, Mark. Rikishi brings them together, says Sassy. That would be a quick way of dealing with the story if you're dealing with it at the thing that Rikishi's not refereeing at Payback.
No.
He posted a poster. Thank you so much for sharing us with it, Mark. He also said he's not doing it now. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. He's knackered. He's messed up. He's messed up. If they did bring Rikishi back, please let him give Heyman a world-class mega stig face.
That'd be awesome.
That'd be great, wouldn't it? Yeah, that'd be a great moment. Everyone would
see the walrus get that in his face.
Yes, no more.